good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday night edition of Into the Night with me, Sean Kelly. And how about the last 2 days in the 80s? I mean, it was like a cold spell just came over, and I actually got starting to breathe. That heat was horrendous, and I hope that it doesn't, pick back up. Hey, Cindy Simpson, good to see you, hon. Welcome to the show. But I don't want to talk a little bit before before I bring my guest on. But I do need to thank UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi, and also like to thank Carnation for sponsoring my show tonight. I'm also the co-host of the Friday night um, podcast, News on the Flip Side, with Joe Montaldo. And if you want to hear about politics, if you want to talk politics, whatever you want to do, please jump on that, pay on that podcast, and you can voice your opinions because it's good. It's just on Friday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern to 1 o'clock a.m. Eastern. But I don't know. Halloween's coming up. And it's that time of the year for the ghosties to come out. The vampires, the witches, and all that kind of good stuff. And I don't know, I get kind of excited about Halloween. I really do. And what's really exciting about it, besides the paranormal. Hey, Ashley, good to see you, hon. Good to see you. Thank you, Ashley, for being here. Is that there's a lot of haunted houses, a lot of haunted places that you can go on a weekend or a weeknight, and you can go and get scared, and usually they're a lot of fun, a lot of fun. And I am grateful to have him on again tonight. But before that, I need to give a shout out to my friend Carrie Livingston. Her business is the Ultimate Bronze 2 in Charleroi, PA. If you need a tan, look her up. Later on in the show, I will type her website into the chat room. So if you want a tan, give her a call. Very good girl. But back to the Halloween stuff. That's why I got Roy on tonight. Roy has been doing this for a long time, and he's got a great event coming up down at the Duda's family farm. It's called, what do we got? Bloodfest. That's it, Bloodfest. And I just need to hear it all because we're really starting to advertise for this. And I do believe it's going to be a great time. And without further ado, I'm introducing my friend Roy White. Good evening, Mr. White. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you, Sean?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Are you enjoying the weather?
Today, yeah. Yeah. Last week was a different story. Yeah.
Oh my God, it was crazy. I bet it was kind of hot down there on the farm, huh?
To say the least, it was definitely hot.
Now,
Definitely hot.
see, I watch this Laura Farms. She's on TikTok, and she's also, hi Amber, good to see you. And she owns a farm and she does farming, right?
Okay.
And she has these these big things that have water. Do the boys down there have that? How do they
Their
water the?
their irrigation actually runs through. It's actually pretty wild. So the plastic they use to put down the plant, this plastic actually has a hose all the way through it. So it's a continuous hose. So when you lay the row down and cut the row, there's an end of a hose there. So then you run irrigation to that, and then it feeds it all the way through, and it's going into the soil, which is under the plastic, which helps keeps the moisture in instead of being just dried out by the sun by spraying over top or anything like that. It's actually a better method. It lasts a lot longer. You know what I mean?
Hmm. I heard they've been having some problems down there with some pest control, huh?
Oh my God, the deer are like rats down there. They lost their two first complete crops of corn, of sweet corn. They're usually sowing the corn probably a week ago. Um, they could not. They had to buy corn from somebody else, which lost the money in seed, lost the money in planting, lost the money in fertilizer, time, everything else. And then turn around and have to go buy corn to sell corn. That's definitely a hard one to swallow. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I would think so. Yeah.
it's all because of deer. I mean, people don't realize, and I didn't know either. All the deer has to do is bite into the silk of the corn. Each piece of silk represents one kernel of corn.
I did not
So,
know that.
so when someone tells you, "Hey, we've had a lot of deer damage and they ate all their corn," it doesn't mean they really ate all the corn. All they do is grab that silk. You grab that silk, it's done.
Wow.
So could you imagine how much could be eaten in one night? Just grab the silk.
Yeah,
And the
with
reason
all
they're
the deer
grabbing it is
down
because
there.
it's sweet. Yeah, and the reason they're grabbing it is because it's sweet corn. So it's very sweet, like us sucking on honeysuckles.
Right.
I mean, it's just the same thing. So they target it and completely go after it. They are actually starting to work on some deer manage now, and hopefully things will get better for sure.
Well, they better not ruin the ultimate corn maze that you
Well, they
got
won't
going on.
because that's not sweet corn. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
they actually really target the sweet corn. It's pretty crazy. You
Well,
know.
I know a couple farmers, and then we're going to get into Bloodfest, but I know a couple up in York, PA. And what they do is they put all their sweet corn in the middle and they put all the crappy corn around it. Do they do that down there?
Um, I don't think it'd make a difference, Sean.
No?
No, because the deer are smart. Deer are definitely smart. Anybody that hunts deer know that deer are smart. And they would just walk right past the other corn to get to that sweet corn. I mean, obviously they can smell it. There's a reason why they're attracted to it, and I think
Mhm.
they would just walk right through that feed corn and go right after that sweet corn.
Nah, that's. See, I'm not a hunter, so I can't do that because, be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, if I saw Bambi, I would say, shoo, go back to mom. Go back to mom. I'm
I got
no
a pretty
deer.
good, I got a pretty good story about that. I used to be a hunter, and a deer, actually a baby fawn, followed me and my son home one time, because we were down in the woods riding quads, and this fawn followed us home, and we gave it to the proper authorities and stuff like that. But I haven't hunted since. Yeah, it was. I haven't hunted since, man.
Amber Parsons says that venison is pretty decent. Yeah, but once you see Bambi, that's it. You're done. I couldn't do it, man.
It is good though. I mean, if my friends got deer jerky, I do eat
Oh,
it.
yeah. But I mean, there's also Thumper, too. I don't have a problem, um, unaliving them every now and then, but
Right,
I really don't do that. They're helpless little bunnies that destroy my garden. You know what I mean?
right.
Believe it or not. But so I brought up the haunted corn maze, my friend. Bloodfest, July 13th and the 27th. Let's talk about it.
Oh my gosh. Where do we start? This is going to be a hayride like no one has ever been to in their life. I'll promise you that. The special effects that we're going to use, things that we could do in the summertime, but that we're not going to be able to do in the cold winter months of September and October. People are going to get wet. People are going to get splattered. It's going to be a great time. It really is. We have a whole bunch of vendors coming and setting up. We have mechanical bull riding. We have a jousting unit. We have Coffin Coffee coming. We have a couple local bakeries coming. Um, a couple tattoo artists that are coming to just show off their artwork. We have a mask creator coming that does all kinds of Halloween masks and anything to do with Halloween. It's going to be a really good time. It's going to start at 7 p.m. The hayride's not going to go until dark, so there's going to be plenty of time for everybody to just relax and have a great time on the farm.
And so you say 7 o'clock p.m. Can people come earlier and talk to the vendors before everything happens? What time is the farm open
The
for
farm, the
people
farm's
to?
open at 7 p.m. and then they'll have the good 2 hours to be around the vendors and everything before the hayride will actually start.
Where do you come up with your ideas for your haunted hayride?
Off the top of my head, I mean, I try not to watch. I'm a giant horror fan. I mean, I'm covered in Halloween tattoos, but I try not to even watch them anymore. My wife doesn't even like it because I don't want to watch anything. I don't want to be influenced by anything. I want to be original. That's my biggest thing. I don't want to do what the next guy's doing. I want to be myself. I want when you go through my haunt, I want to hear you say it, whether it was good or bad. I want to hear you say, I've never seen that happen. I've never seen that done. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's my goal.
And how long have you been doing this?
Oh, over 20 years. 20
20
years, man.
years. Oh
Yeah,
my
20
gosh.
years. And then the last 20 years I've done it professionally. Not only have I done it professionally in 20 years, I also every year had a haunted house at my house in my community. I've changed trick or treating time. Unfortunately, here it's during the day, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Halloween's meant for at night. Go out and watch your children. I grew up in South Philly, and we still had Halloween at night, so it can be done.
Yep.
You know what I
Oh,
mean? It can be.
but the kids make out on Halloween night because I know the city kids, they go out in the daytime, right? And then
Yeah,
at night, their parents drive them over to our area and they
yeah,
go again. You know what
right.
I mean? So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like,
It's a shame that anybody has to go trick or treating during the day. It bothers me so bad. It
right.
really, really does. You know what I mean? Because I grew up in not such a good community, and we always trick or treated at night. I mean, our community was not so good in the fact that we would take our candy, pillow sacks of candy, over to the police station. They'd X-ray them.
Really?
So, oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Wow.
But you know,
Yeah, I
it is what it
remember.
is.
Yeah. Um, but a long time ago, I used to enjoy working at haunted houses. Okay. In fact, I used to belong to the Upper St. Clair JCs. And for 2 years in a row, I was in charge of running it. I mean, getting, the vendors, the actors, setting it all up, the monies, the
Right?
whole 9 yards. And I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it's not an easy job for one person. I
No,
mean,
it's not.
so,
You gotta love you gotta love to do it. That's for sure.
oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But as time went on, and me getting a little bit up there in age, I just don't want to do it no more. I like to read about it. I like to see the stuff on YouTube. And in
I don't
fact, you
know.
showed
I don't know. There may come a day that Sean Kelly makes a guest appearance at Duda's Haunted Farm. You
that's
know,
true.
you
Yeah,
can't never can rule that out, man.
that's very, very possible. Very, very possible.
I just got to make you the
River,
right scene for you.
there you go. We're going to have to talk about that after the show because we might have a contest with our viewers here tonight.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
my friend River, hey River, she says, "Good evening, Sean and Roy and everyone." She's a good person, man. She's
How
good
you doing?
people. She's a good person. But so what was your most famous? Um, I'm going to say skit or the best ever scary room or scary situation.
That I've built.
Yeah,
It's going to be a blood fest.
it's going to be a blood fest.
Yeah, like I said, I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. I actually did a little bit of this in my own haunted house in my backyard years ago with a little bit of special effects, and the response had me hooked. I mean, there was in my backyard there was people trying to climb out the room. I mean,
Really?
they were completely terrified, and yeah, after that I was like, you know what, I can do this. I just need the right time to do this. And then I talked Mark and Andrew and said, "Hey, let's do something in July. I want to try this, And I pitched the whole spew to them, and they're like, "All right, let's do this." You know what I mean? And it's very unique. I mean, there's things that we're going to use that you would never think that would be used in a haunted house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
River says, "Thank you, Sean. You are a good person too. Thank you for saying that, Riv." And she says, "Hi, Roy. Welcome to the show."
Thank you.
And but okay, so you're talking about all this gory stuff getting sprayed and all kinds of crap going to be happening at this blood fest. Is there an age requirement?
You know what? I stay out of that, Sean. Everybody's different. My children have been involved with the haunted industry since they could walk. Okay. I always had my son loved to do it when he was young. He was right by my side. So I tell everybody it's the parents' discretion. I think that's the best thing to do. Then they can't say, hey, well, that was a little bit too over the top. I tell everybody it's parents' discretion. Everybody's different. There's not going to be, any nudity or extreme violence. You're still going to know where you're at. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
like I said, I cannot tell people what age they should bring their children at. I just can't. Now, of course, if you can't be carrying your child, and but some kids at the age of 10 years old love this stuff. You know what I mean? And
Right.
some are petrified of this stuff. So it's all on who you are. You know what I mean? Really, and who knows best is the parents.
Now, it, would you have them sign a waiver for anything?
For this event, no, there's no waivers to be signed.
Okay.
Nope.
Amber says my 8-year-old son is scared of everything. My 2-year-old daughter giggles in glee at haunt stuff.
Right. You know what I mean? Like I said,
There you go.
everybody's different. Yeah, everybody's definitely different. That's why I just try to tell everybody use your own discretion. You know if your child's ready to handle and know that this is a performance. That's what I mean. That's what you're supposed to teach your child. I can't teach your child that.
Right. Now, how do you get your actors?
My actors, a lot of them are actually veteran actors that worked in the same company that I used to work for. So they worked underneath me, and a lot of us got really close. A lot of the actors actually came out of retirement. They all quit. They're all getting older, and they all quit doing this. And once I told them that I finally got my own, and then we're going to do this, they jumped right on board. So that's one good thing. I have a lot of seasonal actors, and that's what makes it. I mean, I could build any set. I can build the best set in the world, but if you don't have the right person there to pull it off, it just doesn't work.
Have you ever done like a little mini scare house or haunted house for like kids up to 8 years old and
Oh yeah,
below?
I mean, when I started my whole backyard thing, it was definitely geared towards kids when I started it, and it kind of grew from there, and my imagination grew, and you know, I've always tried to make everything a family environment, but like I said, it's all up to you whether you taught your kids that this is a show and this is not real, But some kids don't understand that. Even last year going through the maze, some people bring their kids in and they're just too scared, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't tell you an age. What if I tell you, the child should be 14 years old and the child's scared to death, and then it goes through and they're like, hey, you said that 14 was old enough.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's true. That's true. That's true. So, like you did say, it's up to the parents.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what gets me a lot upset is that boyfriends will bring their girlfriends with them. Okay, and they can tell. You can tell that the girl does not want to go through this. Right? She doesn't, and she's scared crapless. But they force them to go. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean, it's just like there could be, and if they were a married couple, I bet there have been a lot of divorces that happened
Oh,
that
I'm
way.
sure. I'm sure. I mean,
I
if you had
mean,
a divorce over that, I guess the marriage wasn't meant to be anyway.
well, I know my wife when I was married, my wife enjoyed going to those too, so it was
Now, see, I've seen a
okay.
lot of the other side. I've seen where men have used their wives and their girlfriends as shields the whole way through. But while they
Really,
were standing out in line, I ain't scared of nobody, blah, 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 blah. And then, they kind of change tune once they get inside.
but but that's whenever if you're working the line as a monster or whatever, and you hear that, then you sneak up behind them. And it's like, wow, and you scare the crap out of them.
Right. And then, well, then not only that, they turn around and they go tell everybody. They're like, "Hey, here's a target." You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
then,
And
you
they
know,
and we used to
yeah,
send people
yeah. This
through the
guy
whole.
thinks, yeah. They'd say, "Hey, this guy thinks he's tough." You know what I mean? Boom. We're all mic'd up. We hear somebody's name. It's through the property within seconds. You know what I
It's
mean?
done.
Yeah.
Leah says that's the best groups. River says my son Noah has been very empathic and highly sensitive since he could walk with the real supernatural. But the fun, scary stuff he might like, he is 16 now and still sees spirits and acts very standoffish. He used to be into Halloween stuff now. He is more serious with the real supernatural, almost uncanny with his gift.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing that, River. But you know what, River? If I can share a little bit of experience with my son, okay, my son Paul, when he was young, was very, very empathic. Okay, and he really enjoyed, watching like the Leprechaun series, the scary movies,
Yeah.
But what happened was he hit the age of 12, and what happened to him was it just like disappeared. He didn't want to talk about it no more. Um, my son's an old soul, but he didn't want to talk about Halloween, the gory stuff. He didn't want to talk about the spirits anymore because he used to see them all the time.
Right.
And but it just seems like he hit that age at 12 years old. So I guess it's because before that, oh my God, he was all over it. You know what I mean? But the best movies that he really enjoyed, believe it or not, was the Lon Chaney's and the Boris Karloffs. He really enjoyed those, scary movies.
Right.
Um, so where are we at? Amber says the bigger they are, the harder they fall. When when the man is that scared one, it makes it so easy. So true. Amber says yes, and Dean Campbell says hello, you all. But oh my God, it was so much fun. Actually working the haunted house. I didn't have to get dressed up. I just had to do all the hard work.
Right.
But I had fun doing it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And we did pull in big bucks.
Oh, I bet.
And we did it for charity, but I did not quite like the way they set it up where the charity came to. Because at the end of the house, now this is back in the 80s, everybody, so that's close to what, 30 years ago or something like that. And, but they would have a box at the end of the haunted house. Hey, Joe Fox, good to see you. Hey, Rhonda. She says, hi, Sean. Hi, Roy. Good to see you tonight, Joe. While people are just coming in, I have my good friend Roy White from the Duda's Haunted Farm, and he's talking about Bloodfest on July 13th and July 27th, and we're just talking haunted houses because that's what the bullet does here for a living.
Right. That's what I live, sleep, and breathe.
I never met someone so enthusiastic. But back to where I was at with that. Um, at the end of the haunted house, they would set up like a box with 8 slots. Okay. And you had to vote on which room you liked the best. Okay. And
Right.
so that's how they gave money to the donations and they kept the rest of it. And to me, that's just, Rick. Hey guys, that's what he says. But that's my opinion. That was 30 years ago. And, when I got old, I got married and I worked night turn at the post office, so I couldn't do the stuff anymore.
Right.
So now, what is what's the whole deal behind a chainsaw in the haunted house? I've been meaning to ask somebody about that. I think it's ridiculous, to be honest with you.
You know what? I can't say I'm a giant fan of a chainsaw, um, but the people are scared to death of chainsaws. You know,
Is it the chainsaw or is it the noise?
it's the chainsaw.
It's the chainsaw.
Yeah, it's a chainsaw. It's definitely a chainsaw. Um, people are just afraid to get cut by a chainsaw. I think you know what I mean. I think that's like one of people's worst fears. And
Mhm.
it works every time. You don't you don't have to be the best actor in the world with a chainsaw.
Right.
You know what I mean? You fire that thing up and people are gone usually. You know what I mean? Is there better actor chainsaws than there is others? Yes, there definitely is. But for the main point, you know what I mean? You can put anybody and give them a chainsaw and they're going to scare people.
Okay. And see, to me, I think it was like totally overrated. And I mean, and here's the weird part about it, dude. You're walking through the house and you hear the chainsaw going like about 3 or 4 stops ahead of you, and it's funny because you know the damn thing's coming up. You smell the gasoline fumes coming out of
Right.
that chainsaw, and they still get scared.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever build an indoor one, um, I don't know if there's gonna be chainsaws inside. Like you said, you can hear it come. You're walking around, you know it's coming. On a hayride, you don't know it's coming, and in the maze, you don't know it's coming. You don't know where it's coming from. You know,
Right,
you may walk into the maze and think you're gonna hit with a chainsaw because it's right beside you, and here you get all the way to the end and forgot about there was even a chainsaw in there, and then he gets you. You know what I mean? So
right.
a little different.
It's well, Rivers says Noah is kind of like your son, Sean. He can play the fun stuff, but when it comes to the real deal, his spine goes straight and he just changes, takes it very serious. I don't know if it's because he is also an old soul and now just doesn't want to see it no more because he knows things are real. He has always had trouble with scary movies. He knows before the start, oh no, not me. My son's the same way. I mean, honest to God, River and everybody out there, we would watch the Leprechauns series, right? The movies, and oh my God, he when he knew there was a scary part coming up, boom, he'd be running in the next room, and then he'd
Right.
wait for the person who screamed, and then he'll come back out. Just like Jaws, the movie Jaws. Every time he heard the dun dun dun
Dun, dun,
dun,
dun, dun,
and
dun,
then
dun.
he
Right.
just he would haul ass to his bedroom. You know what I
That's
mean?
funny.
Until after, yeah. So, like, you got to give the kid kudos. But thank you for sharing that about Noah River. I appreciate that. And Rhonda says most people our age don't scare easily. LOL. That's
That's
true.
not true. That's not true. That is definitely not true. Um, Usually kids do better than adults, man. I'm going to be honest here. I've been in this business for a long time. And yeah, that's definitely not true.
Ashley says, I'd rather be at a real haunted graveyard than watch a scary movie. LOL. Hey, me too. Especially those old. There is a cemetery in Avalon, PA. Not Avalon, Avella, PA. And it's called Shades of Death. That's the name of the cemetery.
Wow.
Okay. And one side, you got the old cemetery with the old, I mean, that's creepy place.
Okay.
Creepy. And then, but on the other side of it, it's where, your 20th century people are buried at. And what's really creepy is that they actually have a chapel actually on the cemetery. And you walk in there, dude, it's just creepy. You know what I mean? I mean, you can just walk into a church and get creeped out. You know what I mean? I've seen
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Lee, Ashley says, let's go. And Leah says, I have had some adults scared and the kids laughing in the same group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah,
What is
definitely.
your biggest pet peeve about haunted houses out there now?
Mine,
Yeah.
um, they all go to conventions and buy the same exact props.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You have these big haunt conventions, and Ashley's one of them that always tries to get me to go to them. They have them, a couple every time, every couple months, and I never want to go to them. I'm just, I'm fine without them. I never had time to go to them before, so I just really don't have time to go to them now. But you go, they go there, and there'll be a whole scene set up, like a whole room, Sean. The whole room's there, dude. You buy the whole room,
Oh,
and
wow.
it all comes apart, and they ship it to you, and you put it back together like a Lego set.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And to me, where's the creativity? Where's I guess, I mean, this is a business. I get that it is a business, but I started this business because I love Halloween.
Right.
That's my whole thing, and I want to be different than anybody else. And it may not be up to par what they spend or whatever, but that's fine because I'm totally different than anybody else. And I don't know. I just don't feel like going and buying a whole set and buying a whole labyrinth of sets and taking them home or taking them to your warehouse and putting them up, and you think you're a Halloween expert. You know what I mean? I just
Right.
like, well, you know what I mean? I don't get it. You know what I mean? But I guess some people ain't as are not into it for the same reasons I am. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And,
They're
and
in it to
everybody's
make
different.
money.
What'd you say?
They're in it to make money.
Yeah,
You know.
true. Yep.
Okay, so we have a couple people talking here. Dean Campbell says, I agree, most haunts are almost the same props, lights. It's all plug and play today. Rhonda says, the best haunted event she was ever at was Shock Oktoberfest. It is awesome. I never heard of that one.
I've heard
And
of it. I don't know where it's at. Let's see where that's at. Let's see if she'll tell us where that's at because I've heard of that before.
Rhonda, where's it at? Can you please type it in, buddy? Cindy Simpson, Roy, other people probably don't have the creativity that you do. And she's got a point. It's near Reading, PA. Thank you,
Okay.
Rhonda.
Yeah. Yep.
But Cindy came back and said, Roy, other people probably don't have the creativity that you do, which is true. You know what
Well,
I mean?
that's probably true. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about it anyway. That's not what I'm trying to say here. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I that you asked me what I don't agree with within the
Well, no,
haunted industry.
yeah.
That's definitely it. You know what I mean? But I just want to let it know. I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody. Everybody does their own thing, and that's fine by me. You know what I mean?
Amber says a big thing is community of the haunt itself. If it is not there, then the haunt itself isn't worth it. Hmm,
That's
interesting.
true.
That is true.
It's true. I mean, like I said, you can build anything you want. You don't put the right person in there, and it fails. You know what I mean?
Well, have you ever thought about, and I thought about this question, I wanted to ask you this. Oh, Roy knows that very well, she said. And that, yes, he does. But I wanted to ask you this. Have you ever thought about doing a movie, a haunted movie with your own creativity? Not
Um,
Stephen King, not none of these big people out there. I'm talking about the Roy White scare fest, scare horror movie. Have you ever thought about doing that?
okay, so probably I don't know. It was probably maybe 10 years ago. I actually did a short film with my uncle. My uncle Jeff's very creative. He's very intelligent into computers and electronics and everything like that. So I convinced my uncle. I was like, "Hey, I got this idea. Let's make a short film." Now I never put it out there, and I was just talking to my uncle the other week about releasing it onto YouTube. We did a zombie short film, and it was about the water being poisoned in Fayette County, and it was all due to the local drilling.
Okay.
It was right around the time when people couldn't drink the water from the drilling.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was pretty cool. It was like a 15-minute short film that we did. Um, it was pretty neat. I don't know if I'd have time to do a movie. I was in a movie actually that's getting ready to come out. I'm actually going to go see the screening of it next Friday. Actually, my Volkswagen bus was in it, my VW
Really?
bus. Yeah, and I
I
actually drove it, but you won't get this. I mean, you won't see me, but
and I
uh,
know you're under a contract not to say anything. So
yes, yes, I can't.
when it comes out, please tell me.
I definitely will.
Um,
I definitely will.
because I was on a couple paranormal shows, and I signed the call. I couldn't tell nobody,
Right.
nothing that I couldn't be on it. But
Yeah.
Leah says Roy has his own vision, and it's always something that comes to life with the actors and how much work and time Roy has put into everything. It's Ashley goes, that's a scary thought. Ron Rhonda says, I worked at Kennywood as an actor for Fright Night. The costumes and makeup makes you hot, and jumping out at people constantly is a hard job. That's a good comment. What can you elaborate with Rhonda what she just said?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's definitely you're definitely hot. Sometimes you ain't wearing the right costume either. You know, you're wearing something maybe that's way too hot. I mean, Kennywood's a big operation, so you know when operations get that big, the family environment kind of goes away. You know, you're just a number. You know, here's this. Go do what you're supposed to go do. You know, so that's what happens when it gets too big, or big corporations think that they're going to create this Halloween event. And try to make it work.
Have you ever, you don't have to answer this or not, but have you ever been approached by corporations to help them out?
I've been approached by other haunted houses to help out,
Okay.
but nah, I always after my one experience, I've turned other people down.
Okay.
know?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would probably do the same thing, but my mind's out there sometimes, but not as great as yours. Okay, I'm admitting that. But I have a couple, things I'm going to run by you, you
Heck yeah,
know,
man! I'm all ears, dude.
and I think it would be okay.
I
So,
don't know if I,
like,
I don't know if I told you this, Sean. I'm opening another haunted attraction next year.
are you really? You going to go too?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have a second location. It's going to be in Mount Pleasant, PA, at JP's farm, and it's going
Mount
to actually,
Pleasant.
yeah, it's going to be a haunted orchard hayride. So it's
Oh,
going to be through an
sweet,
apple orchard.
sweet. There better be apples. If you get hungry, you can eat one.
they will there will definitely be apples and apple cider. They make it right there.
Oh my God, great apple cider. But let me tell you a little bit about where where you just said Mount Pleasant, right?
Yeah.
Um, I did a lot of investigations up in Mount Pleasant, and I'm telling you what, that's freaky scary. A lot of supernatural, a lot of ghosts up there. There's a hotel up there called the R&R Hotel, and they shut it down. But I'm telling you what, we did a couple investigations over there, and we got a lot of good evidence. And this was
Was that
back
it?
in,
Is that the one that was above a bar?
yeah, yes,
Okay.
the
Okay.
whole
So you're
building.
down right downtown.
So yeah, so what was really cool about the whole thing, the first time we went there, Friday night, um, Friday afternoon, I get up there, and I see ambulances in front of this place, right? Okay, and I'm thinking, I, I had no, whatever, maybe someone got hurt. That's how I thought.
Right.
Come to find out, and God rest his soul, this guy died in that place that at that morning, the night that
Wow.
we, yeah. And I was
Wow.
like, whoa, that was like really creepy.
Yeah.
Let me. Rhonda says Mount Pleasant is a good location. It really is a good location, especially all uh, the trains that go through Mount Pleasant. Also, another good place is Pitcairn up in Monroeville, up around that area. Pitcairn, down there where all the trains were at one time.
Right.
Uh, Dean B says, Dean Campbell says, is that the one that burned? I think it did catch on fire. I'm not sure, but
Dean. Dean. I know Dean real well. Dean actually works at the other haunted house that I used to work at. Dean's a security guard there. Dean's a good guy. Dean's a very good guy.
okay, man. So what do you, so Dean? You work security at these haunted houses. I bet you have stories, my friend. I bet you got some stories.
Dean, you cannot mention the name.
No, you can't. No, you can't. He says, "Shush, don't tell." That's funny. I
He's
don't know.
a good guy.
I enjoy quite a few. He says quite a few, quite a few. But I'm really enjoying this tonight. This is like really cool talking about it. It's, you know, I'm having fun tonight, which is great because I got good
Glad, man.
people.
Heck yeah,
So
man.
what would you be? What would you think would be the ultimate, ultimate haunted area, and what would you put in it?
The ultimate place anywhere in the world to put a haunted house. Is that what we're saying here?
Yes, that's what we're saying here. So
Oh man, the Stanley Hotel.
Stanley,
The Stanley Hotel in Colorado, where The Shining was filmed.
you know where else another good place would be, and
Where?
Rhonda will agree with me. Up there at the Conneaut Hotel.
Oh, Conneaut. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yep.
yes. That
Did they even open that back up, or is that still closed down?
no, it's open. It's
Is
open.
it?
It's under new management. Yeah,
I
and
heard it was pretty in shambles.
it was. It
Yeah,
still is.
yeah.
But it is definitely haunted. Did an investigation up there, and we had a dog with us, and so we were in the main ballroom. Okay, and that dog would not step on the floor, the dance floor, would not.
Wow.
Yes, and then we were up on the. I forget what floor it was. Okay, but we walked by a room, and the dog would not go into this room at all. I mean,
Wow.
it literally ran away from this room, and come to find out somebody was murdered in that room. You know
Wow.
what I mean?
That's
Yes.
pretty cool. Yeah,
So
that is
the,
good. That is definitely a good pick. The Conneaut Hotel is also right there is the old amusement park too.
yes. Now they did
Yes.
not open that; they're shutting that down.
Yeah, I
But
know.
all I know is that I think, hey, talk to the new guy, man. Put something up.
That's too far,
Okay.
Sean. I can't do it.
Oh, come on, come on,
I
come
need
on.
to start cloning myself.
You're making you're making some money for them, boy. They'll put you up. You know, put you up for. But Amber says I'm happy listening to haunt stuff at the moment. I missed the season. Amber, I missed the season too. It's coming up soon. It's coming up. And
Yeah,
Dean
I mean,
Campbell says Morgantown, West Virginia University morgue, the old hospital.
okay. Yeah.
That's not too far from you.
No, no, that's not far.
No, it ain't. Not at all.
No, no.
Well, I love West Virginia. I have a lot of family in West Virginia, but West Virginia can be scary in the Appalachian. Seriously.
That's where all my
Um,
that's where my dad's side of the family. That's where they all originated from was West Virginia.
West Virginia in the
Yeah.
Appalachia.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet you can run some stories or do some.
Unfortunately, me and my father's never had a good relationship, and
Um,
my grandfather died when I was probably 3 or 4. So
mhm.
I've never got to the only thing I've done is I've done an ancestry.com thing, and that's how I'm finding all this information out.
Okay, I've done ancestry. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're so good. Come to find out, now see, my family's from Southern Ireland, Galway. Okay,
Okay.
and my family up in Northern Ireland in Dublin. So I'm caught between a rock and a hard place there, brother. But but do
Oh man.
you when you go out when you set up the maze? Um, One of the brothers set up the maze for you to do your thing. How hard is it to get your actors in play, or what to do, or what comes to your mind when you actually see the maze itself?
Um, you know, Mark cuts the maze now. That now I've built buildings in there, and now that I go up and take drone shots for Mark because there's certain spots that Mark's got to hit right on the nail. Mark's pretty amazing with it. He gets on his riding lawnmower, and the corn sometimes is past what he can see, and he's looking at this map, and he just drives through it, and 4 acres later, and Mark's got a maze.
Right.
Um, I got to give my hand out to him for that, you know. But as of getting the actors in there, that ain't so bad. Losing the actors in there and the actors getting lost in there is a different story. You know, when we start this maze, this will be my third year. The first and second year, it probably took me a good 15, 20 times through to know exactly which way to go every
Right,
time. You know what I mean? So, you know, they're kind of on their own with that. You know, I give them a map and say, this is where I want you. And that's where they go to. But as in getting out and coming in, they're kind of on their own with that. I mean, there's really no way to show them. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
you
right,
know, the corn at that time, it's you know, it's like 12 foot. You know, it's towering over you.
right.
You know,
And
it's really, really wild experience.
now, do you now say like somebody like me that gets claustrophobic really easily? Is there like safe exits or exits through the maze that people can get out if they are having a panic attack of some sort?
So unfortunately, the first year we tried to do that, and what happened was, as the season progressed, the corn starts dying. Um, that hole that you made 1 foot wide by the end of the season is 4 foot wide.
Okay,
So now we're running around. The first year we're running around with caution tape, which I can't stand.
okay,
You know what I mean? You don't want to see caution tape inside. You know, it's fine to use it outside the haunted house, but inside the haunted house, it's kind of weird.
right,
And
exactly,
so we had to go running around putting caution tape up so people wouldn't exit out. You know, because
right,
you put an exit sign, tell them do not enter. They're still going out it. So the second year, I was like, we're not doing this. We are not going to create holes for people to get out. If someone needs to get out, you know, by that time I know the maze front and back. I can walk right through the maze and take them
okay.
out. You know what I mean?
But they still would have to go through the maze in order to get out, correct?
Correct.
Uh,
But you know, if you're with me, you know, I can tell everybody to calm down and just let us pass.
can you mention on how many kind of like activities that you have in the maze where
The
you have
maze.
actors? Yeah, like
How many
or
how many buildings are in the maze this year? I added another two buildings. So there's one, two, three, four, five, six buildings.
six buildings.
Yeah, there's 16 buildings in the maze plus the other 4 acres of just maze. You know, and then you know for the hayride this year, I added one, two, three, four, five, like six new attractions. You know, what I mean, complete sets.
That's cool as
It's gonna
hell.
blow. It's gonna blow everybody away for Bloodfest. I can't wait for everybody to see it.
We got a. I got about 1 minute, no, 2 minutes with you, my friend.
Okay.
Last words about Bloodfest and
Last words
where's it
about
located?
Bloodfest.
And where's it?
Bloodfest is the place to be. July 13th and 27th. Mark it down. I promise you, you do not want to miss this. And it's in Brownsville, Pennsylvania. You can find us on Facebook under Duda's Haunted Farm. If you want to buy the tickets now and you live close, they are on sale at the market at the farm. It's 157 Creek Road, Brownsville, Pennsylvania. We will also have tickets for sale at the night of the event at the ticket booth.
Sweet. Roy, my friend, I will see you pretty soon, dude. I
Yes,
am.
sir.
I'm definitely going to come down.
You coming for
Absolutely going.
Bloodfest, Sean?
I'm coming for Bloodfest.
Hell yeah, brother.
But I'm going to
Oops.
need somebody to hold. I'm going to need somebody to hold my hand because I'll be scared.
You know what,
Yeah.
Sean? Hopefully, come a little bit later than earlier, and me and you'll go through it, brother.
All right, brother. All right, listen. How can people? Oh, you already said that. But Roy, again, how can people? Hey, good night, River.
The
Um,
best thing to do is get on Facebook and look up Duda's Haunted Farm. There's tons of videos, there's tons of promotion, there's all the information of all the vendors, the times, everything is all on Facebook.
all right, my friend. Thank you for being on, sir.
And thank you.
I'm going to let you, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, buddy. Have a good night.
You too. Amber says, "Good night, gentlemen. It was a wonderful listening in. I'm glad you were here tonight too, Amber, River, Jackie, Dean. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Um, it was a great show. And you heard it from Roy. You got to go. Duda's Farm, July 13th and the 27th, Bloodfest. I am definitely going to go down there. But it's about that time. It's the witching hour. I got to get going here. So, children, if you can, please go to your family, go to your parents, and your grandparents too. Let me throw them in too. Go to your parents and grandparents and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And parents and grandparents, please go to your children and grandchildren and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And if you have no grandparents, if you have no parents, if you have no children, find somebody to hug and tell them that you love them. Again, thank you, UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi, and Carnation. So, everybody, have a good night, and I will see you next Sunday.